Today is the fourth Sunday of Advent. Next Sunday is Christmas Day. Our text today is the prelude to next Sunday's gospel text, one of the gospel texts for next Sunday. It's how Jesus Christ came to be born. So it's not exactly the nativity scene, but it's part of the nativity, the incarnation, the enfleshing of God. These two texts taken together are probably the best known texts of all the scriptures, certainly in the Christian world. They've been reenacted with nativity plays and dramas down the ages over and over and over again. They have been represented in art forms. Now, I don't have a problem with that, but I do have a question. Is it possible that these representations actually bring to the fore a beautiful dimension? It's cute. The little child is born. And it's romantic. The mother now has a child and the husband to make a life with. Do these hide the more brutal, the more risk-laden reality? It's worth remembering that, not to focus it, not to make that the fore, but to be serious in including it in the situation which we meditate here, the incarnation of God. In fact, the theme of trust comes through very, very powerfully. In a loving relationship, trust is crucial. I think we can assume that in the incarnation, God trusts people. We are invited into that world of trust, divine trust, even amidst the brutal, ruthless world which we face daily and which Mary and Joseph certainly faced. First of all, in terms of the law, because of the hazardous nature of survival in those times, marriage was a very crucial event. It enabled the tribe or the village to survive. It was more of a legal event than a religious event. Children, boys aged 12 or 13 could be married. Girls aged 12 could be married. The betrothal had carried pretty much the same legal implications as the wedding. It was a very serious event. And in the book of Deuteronomy, for example, we read how when selecting people who are suitable for military service and those exempt, that someone who's been betrothed is exempt precisely because they are betrothed. Perhaps more starkly is the case of a betrothed woman becoming pregnant. If it was proved, rightly or wrongly, that she conceived this child by somebody other than her husband, she was liable to stoning to death. We have an example of this in chapter 8 of John's Gospel. Apart from the strict requirements of the Jewish law, there was, of course, Herod, a brutal man, a suspicious man, paranoid man, stopped at nothing to preserve his power. He murdered a good number of his own family, including his wife, his brother, and 3 sons. There's ruthlessness epitomized. He tries to find out where this king of the Jews is to be born. He senses competition. And because he doesn't find out the details, he simply murders, according to Matthew, all the children 2 years and younger around Bethlehem. Even if historically we don't have factual evidence of this, it really doesn't surprise us given Herod's manner and that world. And in fact, is it not the truth that in living memory such things are happening today? They are part of the world into which God comes through the incarnation. the world in which God trusts human beings. It's an understatement, therefore, to say that Mary and Joseph were at risk. The risk was high. But Matthew adds an element which we could easily miss, an element that implies the return of the trust, that they enter into a mutual trust with God. And it's the reference to the people of old in the wilderness. Joseph and Mary are called out into the wilderness to flee into Egypt. Ironically, that's where they had fled from, the people. And they are to name their child Emmanuel, which means God is with us. Echoes of the promise of Sinai. So this is a world of trust, of covenant, of mutual love. Yes, there are times, elements, experiences of the cute and the romantic in life, and I don't wish to denigrate that or play it down. But I do wish to invite you to remember, amidst the stresses and strains, the messiness of Christmas, that life is not all cute and all romantic. That we are called to trust, to step out into the wilderness where the cuteness and the romance has faded. Trusting God. At the heart of our faith is trust in divine providence. It's part of believing in a loving God who is born amongst us, in whom we celebrate this Christmas.